It is 12 noon, lunch hour. Welcome back into Three Man Front on this Reaction Monday. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. Already had Mike Gittins on talking about the Auburn Tigers basketball program. Mike told us he does not believe they are a quality NCAA-like team. So
Mike is very observant.
Yes. Also, Nick Kelly joined us a couple minutes ago from AL.com talking Alabama. The vice chair of the NCAA Men's Selection Committee, also the athletics director at Samford University. That would be one Martin Newton will join the program coming up in a few moments. But, man, Landrum, it's been fast and furious NFL news left and right.
It has been the big news that caught everyone's eye, especially around here in our three-man front family, was one Tua Tagovailoa, however President Trump pronounces it.
Tua Tagovailoa.
That guy. He's going to be an Atlanta Falcon. The Dolphins, after the infusion of Chinese billionaire money, have now given him $99 million to go away.
Is that why you are no longer a Dolphins fan? Is because of the
Is it the Chinese influence? It's okay to say yes.
See, I would say yes, but then somebody would throw out the fact that I like LeBron. So
there you go.
I can't.
Yeah, he loves the.
I'm kind of trapped on that one, unfortunately. I painted myself into a corner.
Yeah, I would probably just jump teams. Follow Tua. Falcons. More convenient. You're going to be able to go to more games.
I might just need a fresh start. Well, that's what I was saying. If he ends up being the starter, I can drive 2 hours to go and watch him
your
play.
favorite color's orange, so orange is out of the color scheme. That's fine. But red and black, it's hard to go wrong with red and black.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a good look. I feel like for the novelty of it, I'm going to have to get a jersey just because.
A Malik Willis jersey?
No.
Oh, you know what he's doing?
What?
He's pandering to our audience because Howie got him a Predators jersey.
That's what he's doing.
Yep. And so now he's pandering to the audience.
That's a page out of my playbook.
Yeah, he is pandering for an Atlanta Falcons Tua Tagovailoa jersey.
I'm going to buy myself one.
Not if someone gets you one first. That's a good-looking Predators jersey. You had that on the other day in the office.
It's a nice one.
What number is he going to have in Atlanta?
Bijan's number 1, isn't he? Or somebody's number 1. He should go back to 13, but I think that's Drake London.
Is the question mark available? It kind of looks like a 1 and the top of a 3.
To him, it probably does.
It looks like a 1 and a top of a 3.
Kind of. Yeah.
That's the new look. Get a waiver from Goodell. Let's do it.
Thank you. Y'all are making me feel really great about this. I'm very excited.
So now you're begging people to buy you a Tua jersey.
That's
from the Atlanta Falcons.
Your words, not mine, but
that's cool. So both of us, we root for teams from the ATL.
Let's see.
Good for y'all.
I'm trying to see. I don't see a number 13 on the roster. Take it back. Throwback for Tua.
You want to collab together and we'd be Hawks fans?
No, I do not. I do not want to do that one. Do not want to do that one.
Or
I don't either, for the record.
Or you could both be, what was it, the Dream?
I was going to throw that one out, but I couldn't remember what the nickname was.
The Sky, the Dream, the Mystic. One of those.
I always remember Sparks. That's it.
But you don't remember the Dream.
No.
I was about to say the Sparks and the Vegas Aces. I know that one.
That's the
Which one does Caitlin Clark play for? The Fever?
Oh, Fever.
Does she still play?
Does she still play?
I feel like I haven't heard anything about her in a long time.
Yeah.
You never got that jersey, did you? Still on back order.
Yeah.
Well, Hugh Freeze got Malik Willis a huge contract today. A 3-year, $67.5 million contract for the former Auburn/Liberty quarterback. $45 million of the $67.5 million is guaranteed. He will be the new quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
Yep. You throw that into what he got Jackson Arnold at Auburn and now with UNLV.
Maybe Hugh.
Uncle Hugh's helping some guys out.
I was going to say maybe Hugh can ditch the idea of playing on the senior PGA Tour and maybe he can become an agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's doing pretty good.
It's actually not a bad path for him. Now you just got to get Chad Kelly back in the mix somehow, and then maybe Bo Wallace will.
I don't think Bo's
no.
talk
That
to
ship has sailed.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's not happening. So.
Maybe somebody that knows Bo.
You just need a middleman. It'll be fine.
That thing got rocky quick on social media, didn't it?
couple of times, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He did not mince his words.
So when we left here Friday, we were all wondering, not really, because we kind of predicted what was going to happen, the President Trump's roundtable on college sports. Here's a little snippet from Nick Saban, the former head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. When he got the opportunity to speak, this is what he said to the roundtable.
We obviously have to do it with the president's leadership and also with Congress probably, whether it's antitrust legislation or whatever it is, to allow student athletes in all sports, including women's and Olympic sports, to enhance their quality of life while going to college, but still provide opportunity to advance themselves beyond their athletic career, which is what the philosophy of college athletics and getting a college education has always been about. And how much does anybody talk about getting an education anymore? Nobody talks about it at all, which is the most important thing any of these student athletes can do in terms of enhancing their future.
So not that any of us on Friday said that anything was going to come of this. It really didn't.
Well, it didn't. I did see where the president said, we're going to get sued. We got something that's going to come out. And I'm wondering, is it more of what Urban Meyer had to say about what he wanted to see done or what would help to solve it? But
You're talking about the executive order?
yeah,
that he was talking about?
I can't begin to tell you what they can do to realistically make this happen, but I've always believed it was going to happen at the federal level. And they probably will get sued by a lot of different people, but I at least commend them for making the effort as opposed to just having this conversation on a semi-annual basis with no end in sight as far as a potential solution or solutions.
My two takeaways from Friday: one, none of the attendees said anything that they had not said publicly before.
Correct.
There was nothing new. Two, many of the attendees that were there didn't even speak. They weren't even given an opportunity to speak.
Well, we guessed on Friday, maybe 4 or 5 people would actually have an opportunity to say something.
You only have an hour.
And 40 minutes was the president and his cabinet chiming in on certain things. So the people that are ultimately going to make the decision, all those other people that were invited, the majority of them didn't even get to speak. And that's a shame. If you're really going to have a roundtable to get something done, enough of the grandstanding. Let the people that can actually get something done have a conversation.
It seemed like it was forced just given everything that's going on.
Yeah, it was kind of like toenailed in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nope, we're going to do it. And, you know.
Did we get a big picture of everybody? Because it felt like about 75% of the people that were just there for the picture. So I hope they got that.
Like I said, whether I agreed with his politics or got to speak or not, if I was invited, I would go.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one to tell the family about.
I've said it a million times. I don't care if I voted for him or not. If the president of the United States and I get an opportunity and I get invited to something, then I respect the office. I will be there.
Absolutely.
Whether I voted for him or not.
Oh, no. 100%.
So.
Didn't look like it was in the new ballroom, though.
No, maybe the next round table, they'll have like 250 people in the new ballroom.
It's kind of like if you really, really hate golf, you despise golf, you think that golf is the dumbest game ever, but you get invited to go to Augusta National.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do that. Never played golf, never watched golf, but they've heard about Augusta National. It's the prestige of being able to go and say that you were there.
Just like I think that if the Winter Olympics that will be in Salt Lake City coming up in 2032, something like that, and the United States men's hockey team is playing for the gold medal, and we get an opportunity to send Conrad, I think Conrad would go.
Yeah,
absolutely. I really found
he could meet us there because I want to go to that.
I rediscovered my patriotism over the weekend watching the United States. It was emotional. It was very special. In the World Baseball Classic.
In baseball?
Yeah, in baseball.
Speaking
Aaron Judge
of that,
hitting the home run. Oh, it was beautiful.
We got a big one. Big one tonight. 7 o'clock. The United States versus Mexico. Do you realize that Houston is the third largest Hispanic population in the country?
I do.
That's not, yeah.
More than 600,000 residents were born in Mexico that live in Houston.
Going to an Astros game a couple of years ago, heavy influence with either Mexican Americans, Hispanics. It was heavy.
Yeah, 600,000 residents born in Mexico claim, obviously, to live in the Houston metropolitan area. Houston, one of the largest metropolitan areas in the country. It will be heavily green jerseyed folks tonight there in Houston, Texas. Mexico is 3-1 all time against Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. So we've only gotten one win against them. Matter of fact, last time we played them, they beat us 12-5. Both teams are 2-0 in Pool B. Both teams are averaging 12 runs a game. But guess who we got on the bump tonight for Team USA?
Paul Skeens, baby.
That's right. Meanwhile, 37-year-old Manny Barreda, who started 3 games in his career in Major League Baseball for the Orioles, he had a 13.50 ERA. He's played 19 years in limited work, obviously in the United States, but he has played all over the Mexican and Chinese baseball leagues. He has a 3.92 ERA in 19 years as a pitcher. The winner of this game will advance to the quarterfinal knockout stage. If the USA loses, they will have to beat Italy tomorrow to advance.
Whoa. I did not peruse the entire Mexican roster. Hey. Wait a minute.
Good.
Jarren Duran?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he homered. He had a bomb 2 nights ago.
You've got Randy Arozarena.
Reyna.
Mm-hmm.
Does Correa play for them?
I do not see Correa.
Okay. I didn't know what national team he played for.
You got Nacho from the Braves.
Yeah.
He had a big home run the other night. Got to put on the wrestler mask. That's their thing.
Nacho Libre.
Yes. See? Nacho Alvarez. Yeah. Man. Maybe we can find a spot in our lineup this year.
I know this will fire you up, Landrum. Probably not.
For the good or the bad?
For the good.
Oh, okay.
So Paul Skeens, who is on the bump tonight, a former cadet at the U.S. Air Force Academy, 2 years before he transferred to LSU because
Olivia Dunn was calling his name, and so was a lot of Benjamins.
Well, that plus he did not want the 5-year mandatory service that he was have to go into.
It'd be tough to fit in a cockpit.
Didn't he? Hasn't he said though once he retires from baseball that he plans on entering the military? I feel like I saw an interview where he did that a couple years ago.
Well, this is what he had to say, what it means to him to play for Team USA.
Okay, let's go.
Unlike that guy.
Yeah.
When it came to the hockey gold medal game.
The former Patriot Noman is Conrad.
Yes. He says the following, talking about this and the WBC and playing for the United States of America. He says, this tournament is not about me. It's not about any of us, really. It's bigger than any one person. It's about country. Everyone on this team, we all understand that when you put on these colors, you're not just playing baseball, you're representing something deeper. Paul Skeens tonight. That is your starting pitcher for Team USA and what it means to him.
That's our starting pitcher.
Yeah, to wear the colors of the red, white, and blue representing this nation.
Well, and how about Skubal saying, I'm only going to play one game, and then after pitching the other night, he's like, whoa, I might want to go again because it means so much to him. That's pretty cool.
Love this. Love it.
And don't give up a home run on the first pitch again.
Yeah, see, I knew it'd get you fired up. And for him, it's
chill bumps.
All he cares about is Aaron Judge trying to hit home runs. He doesn't care about the whole team.
Pat was trying to give me some awful scenario this morning about Aaron Judge, just really trying to throw me off.
I think that we ought to come up with some kind of movie marathon for him, the most patriotic movies that we can find, and he watches them and gives us.
My favorite movie ever is Saving Private Ryan. That's pretty patriotic.
Yeah, unless you're German.
Well, he is Dutch.
It's actually a horror movie when I watch it.
It was very well done.
It's a great movie.
Listening to Tom Hanks talk about that as a little side note, and some of the stuff that they did to simulate the IEDs and the explosions. Not IEDs, I guess, back then, but
the stuff mines. They put on the tanks and the beach scene.
You know where it was filmed?
I'm trying to remember.
Ireland.
Yes.
Is that where they filmed Band of Brothers too? A lot of that stuff.
I think so. But I
'Cause
do
I know
know
it's him
that
and
the
Spielberg.
opening scene of Saving Private Ryan was filmed in Ireland
Yep.
because the beach and the surroundings was very
And they
similar.
used as extras serving as Allied United States soldiers, amputees were used. So prosthetics
When they're dragging
actually
the guy
getting-
behind him and stuff.
But
yeah.
but prosthetics actually getting blown off. It was fascinating hearing the behind the scenes and how they put that
It's a
together.
great movie.
So the U.S. versus Mexico tonight, that is a 7 o'clock first pitch as Paul Skeens will go up against Manny Barreda.
Manny.
Do you have the line?
Yes. Right now, the United States is a 3.5 run favorite.
That's right.
And the run total for the entire game is 11.5. So we will get into a little bit more of this.
Vinny Castilla's the bench coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this morning, Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a grand slam for the Dominican Republic, and he stood there at home plate for about 20 seconds
Well, that's him.
before he ran to first.
I hope Jerickson Profar is enjoying all this.
He's not playing.
Oh, I know. That's why I hope he's enjoying it.
But there's another Profar that plays for the Netherlands. I was watching them last night. At first, I was like, whoa, hold on a second. There's no way the commissioner's letting him play, right? But
he's appealed his suspension, Pat.
It was another Profar playing for
Jackson Profar.
the Netherlands.
Oh, Ozzy. So glad he did it for them.
That was the first ever walk-off in the history of the WBC.
The Soto one?
No, there's a little debate there. But no, Albies, that was the first one.
Oh, that was the one with the
Against
unfortunate
Nicaragua.
home run call.
Yeah. Yeah, they take the lead. No, yeah.
Yeah, that's a walk-off. The game's over.
Yeah, the game is over with.
He's feeling all good about his game and his swing. He won't hit one home run for us this year.
Talk about a dude that doesn't need to get popped again. Much like Profar. He's already danced with the devil one time.
It's fun to pull for Judge
Yeah, he's a great player and a great American.
wearing our country's colors.
We should have bought Landrum a Bryce Harper jersey.
I know.
for
I
the
was
USA.
proud of Bryce and Schwarber. Hey, they're representing our country.
That home run that Schwarber hit was...
Yeah, that was good.
See, that's the right
was a
attitude to
bomb.
have, unlike
No, they're representing our country.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Yes, this is awesome.
he was laughing when Jack Hughes lost his tooth in the hockey game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just laughing. Oh, look at him.
Oh, look at Snaggletooth. Oh. Yeah, hero.
Yeah. All right, we will continue on. Martin Newton at the bottom of the hour. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks. It is 12:21. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk to Martin Newton, who is the athletics director at Samford University. The women's basketball team for Samford, they punched their ticket to the big dance, big Southern Conference tournament win yesterday. Congratulations to them. They're having a little celebration over at Samford a little bit later today. We'll also talk to Martin about his other job. He's the vice chair of the men's selection committee. So the UConn Huskies, they're a team because they took it on the chin to Marquette over the weekend. They dropped off the one line. That has now elevated the Florida Gators to the number 1 seed, according to Joe Lunardi. Well, if you watch the very end of the game, UConn had an opportunity to win the game, and there was not a foul called. And, of course, Coach Hurley, pretty upset after the game. He was ejected, double technical, ejected from the game. But, of course, according to Coach Hurley, nothing to see here.
I didn't think I bumped the ref. I thought I got close to, yelling at John. I mean, if John thinks I bumped him, then he'll say I bumped him, but I don't think that I bumped the official. I think I yelled, into the back of his head, foul.
If you saw the clip, and I just love the way that he's so monotone. It sounds like he's in a library. He's just speaking like this,
There was contact. I certainly didn't mean to do that.
No, and the referee
just screaming at the back of his head.
Yeah, foul. But I did not touch him. I did not touch him. Well, the Big East Conference, they acted pretty quick. By the end of the evening, they had come to the conclusion by watching all the video clips that they could not tell whether there was contact made between Hurley and the officials. But they did fine him $25,000.
I got a call from Benedict, I dare you to fine him.
$25,000 he was fined. But you just heard Hurley. I don't think I touched him. I didn't bump into him.
So you can do that, or you can say MFers about the officiating off camera and like Mark Pope and get a $25,000 fine as
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'll give Tim Brando credit. Tim Brando was calling the game on television, and they identified it very quickly that he did make contact. And I have no idea what kind of film the Big East Conference. But again, the Big East Conference are going to take care of their cash cow.
Absolutely.
Which is UConn. So, yeah, it was an ugly situation.
That's a bad Marquette team, too, that they lost.
Oh, it's horrible.
A really bad Marquette team.
Terrible. And to go in there and to lose like they did, but UConn's done that a couple times this year.
After further review, the camera angle that I got, it looked like he bumped initially referee in right shoulder.
Not to mention the fact that he was on the court.
He was on the court.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway.
I bet he's a big bundle of fun for those Big East officials. I just think UConn and how they have to serve him.
You got a close-up right there. You're watching it now.
Yeah. That's a bump.
Yeah, and then when his assistant...
You should never be that
Watch
close.
his assistant coach. He's going to tell his assistant coach, get your hands off me.
Yeah, get your hands off me.
Yeah, that's what he said to the assistant coach, who was trying to keep him from, physically attacking the referee and probably being...
I'll give credit to him after the back-to-backs, and what were they, an 8 or a 9 seed last year? Getting back close to that one line. I guess it's worth the, 14, 12, 13, $14 million they're paying him?
Mm-hmm. Just think, he could have been the Los Angeles Lakers head coach.
Mm.
He could have been LeBron's coach, Conrad.
I'm glad he's not.
But I'm glad
LeBron's
that
too soft for that, probably.
No, and I'm glad that we have someone like him. He's a heck of a basketball coach, but he also comes off as a real jerk and a guy that's easy to dislike. That's a team, that's a program, that's a coach that I will actively pull against.
Who's more
no matter
unlikable,
who they're playing,
him or Mick Cronin? It's different situations, but I think they're, in my opinion, the two least likable.
After having a conversation with someone who's very familiar with Mick, I think I understand Mick more. I think Hurley's just a jerk. Now, I think Cronin's.
He just seems more depressed a lot of the time.
I think Cronin's comes from a more genuine place than Hurley's. I think Hurley's comes from, I think I'm better than you.
I give you that, yeah.
few national championships will do that.
Cronin just doesn't realize why kids don't respond the way they used to.
Well, the whole thing, yeah, and I get that. I guess my thing with Dan Hurley is you just lost to a horrible team. Maybe spend some of that energy yelling at your players, not the referee. I mean, you should roll the ball out there and beat Marquette by 20.
He should have.
But the coaching personalities that they have in that conference, that's good for that conference.
Yeah, there's no question. Speaking about colorful coaches, yesterday the Michigan Wolverines took on Michigan State. And think about this. Going into the game, these two teams combined had 57 wins between Michigan State and Michigan on the year. 57 wins. One's going to be a 1 seed. Other one's probably going to be a 2 seed. So after the game, Tom Izzo kind of took umbrage to the crowd there in Ann Arbor, chanting "little brother" to Michigan State.
Guess the crowd didn't watch the game because I'm nobody's damn little brother. And neither is my team. I'm really proud of my team, how they played and what they did. I ain't taking a backseat to nobody. I don't care what they've done and what they've done. They've deserved what they got. 29-2 and deserve every bit of it. I'm not into there's no moral victories. I'm at Michigan State, no matter what those people think. Have we done it longer and better than most? It's a hell of a basketball game. They've had a hell of a year. We've had a hell of a year. Theirs has been a little better.
I love Tom Izzo.
I do too, man.
Just
I hope he coaches until the day that the good Lord calls him home. Love to see him coaching basketball. Just leading. It's not basketball. It's just leading. Tom Izzo. More Izzos. We need more of those. Guys that didn't placate, didn't cave, didn't lean into whatever narrative people told them they were supposed to. No, Tom Izzo has been steadfast in his beliefs and what he values, and good for him. 762 wins.
Ooh, it's a good number.
59 wins all time in the NCAA tournament. 11 Big Ten regular season titles, 6 Big Ten tournament titles, and all the Final Fours. Championship. Tom Izzo, he's a good one. He and Saban, they're still boys, I'm guessing. They're still friends.
I don't know. I don't know how close they are.
Seems like those two would.
Yeah, I'm sure they got along very well when they were there together. Yeah.
When we come back on Three-Man Front, we'll be joined by the athletics director at Samford University, also the vice chair of the men's selection committee. That's next. Amazing. It is 12:33. Welcome back in on this Reaction Monday. This is Three Man Front. Pat Smith along with Landrum Roberts, Conrad Van Order, Molly Robinson with you until 2 o'clock. If you missed any of our interviews today, you can always download the Three Man Front podcast. Mike Gittens give us his thoughts on the Auburn Tiger basketball team, NickKellyAL.com, and we're happy to be joined always with Martin Newton, the athletics director at Stanford University, also the vice chair of the men's selection committee. Joins us now on Three Man Front. Martin, I hope you're well.
I am doing fantastic. It's the calm before the storm, as they say.
Before we get into your side job, I want to talk about just an amazing run by your first-year head coach, Matt Weiss, as the women's basketball team got their first ever SoCon championship with a big tournament win yesterday. I know that had to just absolutely warm your heart.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm so proud of Matt and the ladies on this team. And, you know, the sign of a good coach and a good leader is that they will listen and they'll make adjustments. And, you know, Matt, we got off to a really slow start in conference play, played the 23rd hardest non-conference schedule in the country with the likes of really good teams. But he got off to a slow start in conference, and you know, a lot of guys will dig in and say, well, this is the way we're going to do it. What Matt did is said, look, I got to make some adjustments. What do you think? And so he made some lineup changes, went with some younger kids, and heck, the two freshmen led us in the conference tournament. We won like 6 of our last 8, and I'm just really proud of him, man. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Martin, what are you doing as far as prepping, given what you are in that committee you're tasked with? And I know it's kind of rinse and repeat for you, but every year, every field potentially brings a new set of challenges. Does your family, do they try to help you, encourage you, give you some time off before you leave, and they know that dad, granddad, husband is going to be going and breaking down all these critical decisions?
You know, the great thing is my wife knew what she was getting into when she married me because, you know, with my dad being a coach and an athletics director, she kind of knew that we really put life on pause from about November till April. And so they've been fantastic, and they've enjoyed this journey with me. You know, the great thing about it is they get to go to the Final Fours. They get to participate in it. They get to be on the court for family shoot-arounds and do a lot of fun things. So the family's been fantastic. I've got a grandson who's 13 that's really into basketball now, plays at Mountain Brook Junior High, and my son's coaching basketball as well. So it's kind of a family love affair, and always has been.
All right, so Martin, as every year has its own DNA, its own special, I guess, when you look at it, start to finish, the storylines always change year in, year out. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seemed like this weekend in particular, almost every team, whether it's a list of 10, 12, 15 teams that are on that so-called bubble that we talk about in the media, they all lost over the weekend. And that just makes y'all's job, to me, even more difficult already. But my goodness gracious, I don't remember this many bubble teams towards the back end of a season take this many losses.
You know, I just think it speaks to the parity in college basketball right now. I mean, look, you've got a lot of teams out there that are capable and deserve opportunities to play in the tournament. The reality of it is, for the committee, our job is to select the 37 best at-large teams, not most deserving. And so it really makes it challenging. And on top of that, you've got some desperate teams in these conferences. You've already seen it at the mid-major level. You're going to have a lot of upsets. You know, Belmont losing to Drake and by large double digits. Belmont was one of those teams that I was going, man, they could be considered a bubble team at one point. So there's a lot of conference tournament games that are going to take place. You could have some bid stealers at the end of this thing. And what that does is that means our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be really challenging for the committee as we try to dissect and figure out who those 37 best at-large teams and then to seed those teams.
Martin, as best you can for our listeners who I know some are asking the question, he said best versus most deserving. What's the difference in the eyes of you and your fellow committee members?
Well, you know, again, I think that's the challenging part, right? And there's a lot of conversations about teams like I know Coach Pearl and Coach Steele at Miami of Ohio had a really good conversation the other day. Bruce came out with his opinions on some things. I don't think he's wrong on the 37 best, But then you look at what Miami has done, and to win 31 games, now granted, 3 of those were non-D1s, regardless of the schedule you're playing against, to win 31 games is like 1 in 4,000. I mean, the probabilities of that are really difficult. I think they said that 27% of the teams in the country, even with the same schedule, could possibly go undefeated. You're getting everybody's best shot. So, that's one of those that as we get into the committee room, we're going to have to really have a lot of discussion about, is Miami, are they one of the best 37? If they don't win their now they've got a chance to put all this talk aside and just go win the AQ. Are they one of the best 37, or are they one of the most deserving? And again, that's going to be the hard part of the committee, is really dissecting, looking at the metrics, because those are important, but also the eye test and looking at what these teams, when you watch them play, whether you feel like they could get into a tournament and make some noise and win games.
Martin, I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but it's something I brought up on the show and kind of half-heartedly before the game on Friday night they had with their rival Miami of Ohio, and I asked the group if they lost this game, if they lost a game in the tournament, would they still deserve to be in? Had they lost in overtime on Friday there in Athens, would this make this an easier decision for the committee if they were not to go on and win the MAC tournament?
I think it would just be part of the discussion in the room. I mean, you got 12 committee members that will all have different takes and different opinions and different lenses to look at Miami of Ohio, or any team for that matter. And so I think they still would have been under consideration. They would have had to be, because again, I go back to what I said. I don't care who you are. Winning 31 games in a row, that's really difficult to do. And so I think they would have still been under consideration.
Martin Newton, the athletics director at Sanford University, also the vice chair of the men's selection committee, joins us here on Three Man Front. So I remember last year, North Carolina gets in the tournament, and they were 1-12 against quad 1 opponents. And we look at the net rankings, or at least the ones that we have access to. You guys have all other metrics that make the ultimate decision on who gets to go to the tournament. But I'm looking at a team like Auburn, who is sitting there, who's played arguably one of the toughest schedules in all of college basketball, but they're 4-12 against quad 1 opponents. For the case for Auburn and playing in the Southeastern Conference, how much will that be discussed in regards to, you played a tough schedule, but you only have 4 quad 1 wins?
Well, I think it's like any team at that level. When you're in the bubble, you're looking at a lot of different. When you start looking at their resumes, you're looking at a lot of different factors, right? How were they in quad 4? How were they in quad 3? Do they have any, thing that really sticks out to you on that team sheet? North Carolina is a great example. I mean, you're exactly right. They were 8-0 in quad 2 against some quality opponents, and they had a nice run in their conference tournament as well. Their metrics, their wins above bubble, which we really took into account last year, and I think you'll see some of that this year as well. Their wins above bubble was 30. I want to say off the top of my head, 32, 35, somewhere in that range, which puts them pretty solidly in the tournament when you think an average bubble team is 45. So although there's some similarities, there's some differences as well. And it's not just that one metric of quad 1 wins or quad 1 losses. It's the whole body of work. And I think that's the thing that you have to look at. The other question I get a lot is, okay, a team with 15 losses or a team with 14 losses, we don't have a number. There is nothing that suggests a specific number of losses keeps you out of the tournament. Just like there's nothing specific number of wins gets you in the tournament. It used to be, if you win 20 games, well, none of that matters anymore. Now it's all about the full body of work. It's about all the different tools that we have to look, and it's about the eye test. What do you think this team's doing at this point in time? What have they done over the body of the work of the season? And again, Auburn's one of those teams that, they've had some really good highlights in this year. They've had some lowlights in this year, and the good thing is for Auburn, they've still got games to play, right?
Yeah, and that leads into my next question with tournament play and maybe picking up a win or two, or maybe a team losing. I know that it's going to be the body of work, but not specifically just for Auburn. Does that play into a lot of the decision or the number of teams that might need to pick one up in the tournament? Is that more so now than it used to be, or less?
It just depends, right? Because you could have some bid stealers in some other leagues that are going to knock out some of these bubble teams. So whereas maybe your bubble, like last year, the bubble was pretty small because you didn't have a lot of bid stealers. The year before, we had a lot of bid stealers. And so that knocks out some of those teams that might have been your last four in or your first four out. And so a lot of it really kind of depends on what happens in under-conference tournaments. There are teams, whether it's the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, the Big East, that could really throw a monkey wrench into how this whole bubble looks at the end of the day, right? If you get some upsets, one of the hottest teams in the SEC right now is Oklahoma. If all of a sudden Oklahoma makes a nice run in this tournament and gets to the finals of the tournament, that could potentially upset some of these bubble teams as well. Virginia Tech is another team that's sitting firmly on the bubble. They make a run in the ACC tournament. Now all of a sudden that bubble shifts. And so that's the challenging part. But the great thing about it is, as we get into the scrubbing process and we get into that, once we've kind of gone through the part of that Wednesday night where we finish casting the initial ballot, all those bubble teams in, as we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there'll be a lot of discussion from the committee members on those bubble teams.
Well, it's interesting, Martin, because what has happened over the weekend, I saw more articles being written by college basketball guys saying, well, you look at the bubble and you look at all the problems that they got right now with these teams losing over the weekend, and they keep saying, why do they want to expand this tournament? Because it's problematic this year trying to find enough teams, in some people's opinion, to actually make the tournament and be able to have a good tournament based on competition. In regards to expanding the tournament, is there anything new that you can tell us in regards to the conversations that the NCAA and people like yourself that's heavily involved in the game about the potential of expanding the tournament next year?
You guys are going to be mad at me because, but no, there's really not. We came out after the mock media selection process, and we actually said at that point we're going to table any discussions about expansion until after this tournament, so that we can put our full focus on this tournament, and then we'll have those conversations. But you could make the flip side argument that what this is showing with all these upsets. Look, again, we're talking about Auburn. We'll use Auburn as an example. I mean, they're firmly a bubble team, right? But yet they've beaten the Big East champion. They've beaten Florida, which is potentially a number one seed in the tournament. So again, that just tells me that there's a lot of really good basketball teams out there that may be more deserving to be added into this field. So again, what I would tell you is, whether you agree with it, whether you like expansion, whether you don't expansion, whatever side of the fence you sit on, once Thursday, Friday rolls around, we're going to be watching basketball, right? And my guess is even those of you that are against expansion, if we were to go that route, you're probably going to be watching those Tuesday, Wednesdays, because there's going to be some really good basketball games there as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but we have completely tabled any conversation until after the Final Four, which I think is the right decision.
Martin, saw some news and notes from bracketologists and other folks and trying to predict what that field's going to look like. Thought that it was gone, but Charles Bediako and his impact at Alabama, the wins, the losses, how much do you anticipate that will be a part of the discussion with particular teams?
I think the discussion at this point is similar to what we talked about earlier. It's just we evaluate every team's composition once they go into the tournament. And yes, they played, I think they were 3-2 with Charles Bediako. And we'll evaluate them now without Charles Bediako. It's not any different than it was. There's no, again, it wasn't an eligibility issue. He petitioned the courts. He was able to play, and we'll evaluate them just like we would a team that's had an injury, just like a Texas Tech has had a JT Toppin that's out, or a BYU, or now North Carolina with Caleb Wilson out. We have to evaluate those teams as they're going into the tournament based on their full body of work with the roster that they have.
All right, a piggyback question to that, because we brought it up earlier in the show, and I said I'll ask Martin. The Auburn-Texas A&M finale, some controversy. Remember that, the review, and how much could that potentially factor in? I feel like I'm asking the same question, but it's about different things, and I want to see if I'm going to get a different answer.
He's
Martin.
trying to put you in a rock and a hard place.
I'm really
Martin.
not.
That's what Landon was trying to do.
I know exactly what it's like a congressional hearing. I know exactly what you're trying to do. So, no, it's the same thing. But we don't get into the, boy, if they'd adjusted. Man, if that official was wrong, if he'd have just called, boy, you could say that for almost every game. And it really depends on if you're a fan or not, right? If you're a fan of that team, they always get the calls wrong. So we don't get into that. We look at the whole body of work. Look, at the end of the day, that game in particular that you're talking about, unfortunately, it was a loss for Auburn at home against a really good Texas A&M team. I mean, look at what Bucky has done. I can brag on him a little bit. I'm probably not supposed to, but I can brag on him because he was sitting here at Sanford, and I know how good a coach he is. So it was a tough loss for Auburn. It was a great win for Texas A&M, and at the end of the day, that's what sits on our team sheets.
Well, to that note, have you ever had a coach just call you over the weekend and say, "Hey, off the record, it's not going to break my heart if you guys don't put us in"?
No, never. These coaches. I tell you, the funny calls you get, especially when you're doing the conference monitoring, is those teams that are in that 15, 16 seed line, and they're all going, it wouldn't hurt our feelings if we went to Dayton for the first 4. they get that extra unit, right? So
yeah.
Charles McClellan, who I think he said this at the Birmingham Tip-Off Club the other day, the commissioner of the SWAC, he said exactly that. They made like $4.5 million for their league playing in those first 4 games and getting that extra unit. So, but no, coaches never call over the weekend politicking at all. They absolutely never do that, right?
No.
I'm firmly tongue in cheek right now.
Yes.
By the way.
Well, the committee appreciates your candor today, Mr. Newton, and how you've responded to our questions.
I've been watching too much CNN and Fox News with all these congressional hearings.
All of us.
Well, today a 2 p.m. celebration there at Sanford at Harry's Coffee House at the University Center. Coach Matt Weiss and his Lady Bulldogs, as they got the big win yesterday at the SoCon tournament. They have punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Martin, always appreciate you joining us. It's a very, very busy time of the year in your world, and we always appreciate your candor and the opportunity to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit, and we appreciate you very much.
Well, you guys are the best. I appreciate all you do to support not just Sanford University, but college basketball in general. And I know we live in a football state, but, man, there's some really good basketball in this state as well.
Sure there is no doubt. Well, hopefully we can try to catch up with you when it's all said and done after the weekend. You're always great to come on the day or so after. So if you're traveling, I'll shoot you a text. And if you're available, we'd love to have you again.
I would love to do it, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great week.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Martin
you.
Newton, one of the busiest men, him and about 12 other guys in that committee room, as they will come up with a bracket that will be released on Sunday afternoon as March Madness is upon us. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks. Always great to catch up with Martin Newton, the athletics director of Samford University, also the vice chair. He'll be the main guy. He'll be in charge the next 2 years as the chairperson of the NCAA Men's Selection Committee.
We're so fortunate to have folks like Martin, and especially what he does, but his willingness to come on.
Oh, yeah.
And
because he knows that we're going to ask questions that he's not going to be able to answer because of certain protocols.
And there's reasons why we may expect those answers, but we still have to ask them.
Sure. Absolutely.
We know that you guys want to know, and we want to know, to be frank.
I'll never forget last year. The major conversation was North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, and he brought it up, they were 1-12 against quad 1 opponents. But he said they were 8-0 against quad 2 opponents. And then they made a heavy run in the ACC tournament, hence the reason why North Carolina got the bid. So, I mean, if you look at Auburn right now, if you look at their quad 1 and quad 2 wins, if you combine those, because they're 4-12 in quad 1, they're 4-2 in quad 2. So that makes them 8-14 in quad 1 and quad 2 games.
Okay.
So that would have put North Carolina last year 9-12.
All right. And I'm not trying to correct you, but I'm reading it here, and these are updated through the 8th. I'm seeing where Auburn has a 3-2 record in quad 2.
Oh, one of them must have dropped off because I got them at 4-2. But if you're looking at the very latest, then
maybe that's good news, bad news for Stephen Pearl.
Yeah. You just don't want them to get in the tournament, do you?
It's just having a hard time buying it.